All right, what's up, everybody? Let's get started. Let's check this out. We are gonna do the Pokornyi modular control panel today. And that includes the button box, the encoder box, and the ignition box. Should look something like this when we get done. Hopefully. And using all of their DIY files. From their site. All right. So let's get started. We're going to start with the button box first. What's up, Sean? How's it going? Get to skip through quite a bit. I did buy the finished board, assembled board, programmed everything from Pokornyi themselves. Just makes things so much easier and quicker. I also saved the pain of you watching me install next to, I think it was around 60 some brass inserts across the 3 different enclosures that was 3D printed. That's been fairly boring for you and I, so yeah. We get started. My enclosure, 3D printed brass inserts in. It is directional because you can see at the top there is 4 USB-C slots that are already on the board. This goes in one direction. And find the screws. So this will take 3x6 button heads. Screws are in. There's an important note on the board. I'm trying to flip back through the instructions real quick to find that again. One line in a 32-page document is always fun to remember where that was at. So if you're looking at the back of the box, for their instructions, the one that actually goes to the PC is going to be the top right one. So these others will allow the other modules to plug in, but this top right one is the one that has to go to the PC. Screws are in. So next up is the light guide, which it is directional. So you can kind of see here it's got some cutouts to go on this over the screws that we just put in. So this is also a one-directional piece. We got that. Next up are the buttons themselves with a diffuser. So just a small little diffuser piece that's going to snap into the base of these. Pretty snug fit. And then that whole assembly will then just pop down like so onto that, and we will do it 19 more times. One had a little bit of material still in the opening that snaps in around the cap. They do give you extra of both the caps and the small diffusers, so that one didn't work very well initially, so let's try some others. That one's good. Should have done this ahead of time too. Hopefully everyone's Saturday is treating them well so far. Button to go. All right. Buttons and button diffusers are in. Clear this stuff out. Next up is the front plate. So it's got some raised kind of covers to go in between the buttons. 4 brass inserts into that. This will just slide over the top. Like so. And then we will screw it in from the back. Countersunk screws. Little tougher thread it is going through the 3D printed post, so it might not be 100% accurate before it gets to the threads. So it will eventually go on the back of this then to mount the whole control panel, 3 pieces. There'll be some brackets in between on each side, but then a VESA mount will screw right to the back of this. As you can see, the threads that are already in there. So there's the button box part of that done. Next up, we are going to go to the encoder box. Got 3D printed again. Save the time on being live of doing all the brass inserts ahead of time for this one as well. There's also up on the corners, you also have threaded inserts that will connect to brackets that connect the 3 assemblies all together in the end. Here's the board. Again, directly from Pokornyi. Just easier that way. And we'll get some screws to attach that. What's up, Adam? As of right now, I am thinking yes, it is going to go on it. The GTE box that I built a couple of is awesome. It's really cool. The only thing it's for the space that I have and where I want it. The GTE box is fairly large in size, and it kind of covers up some of the other things that I have currently, like my SemiCube e-stop button and my computer buttons and things like that are now difficult to reach with that in, and I'm kind of out of room to try to put it anywhere else. So the plan is, yes, this gives just as many buttons, same amount of encoders, and then you get the ignition box is a little bit different, but overall it's about the same number of items. So not much difference between the two other than just looks. This one looks a little more modern, we'll say. Board's in. Now we'll get some countersunk screws on the back end. Put the back plate on. They have the bigger inserts here for the like for a vase mount or for mounting options. I'll end up not needing those, so those are going to end up staying blank and unused, even though that they've been put in there. Figured it was easy while doing them all just to do what they showed in case I ever want to change things up, move things around, whatever it might be. So there. So far, next up we'll have the plexiglass inserts, which they're just clear little discs. They even give you the 3D print file option for this. I chose the plexiglass just because it lets the LEDs be a little brighter, I'd feel like, versus having a filament. I am just doing PLA plus. Next up, fun sticker sheet after we got the plexiglass inserts in. Destroy it before it even goes on. It is It is the Sunlu. Midland. All right, so now that is on. Next up will be rotary knobs. I would guarantee a lot of those are coming from the same place if I if I was to guess. Yeah, they're calling it Sean, they're calling it more the modular thing because you can pick and choose the separate boxes, like which side you want them on. If you want the, you know, like this, I'm going to put my encoder box over to the right, and then I'm going to have the ignition box off to the left. There's no real rhyme or reason how you can do it. Kind of all up to the end user. What's up, Brandon? How's it going? All right, encoder box done with assembly. What we can go ahead and do, and I can show you how this goes together. So unfortunately, they don't give you the 3D printed file for this. You could probably make them up fairly quickly, but they give you a straight bracket, and they give you, it's about a 30-degree, I think they said it was, angle, depending on what you want to do with that. So my encoder box, I want to be angled. Yeah, welcome back to Ohio. Nothing fun happening here. Practice those standing starts. Figured a standing start at Long Beach was going to be safer than trying to do a rolling too wide through the hairpin onto the front straight. We'll see how that theory works out, though. So there's some of the modular control panel. So again, I picked an angled option for the encoder. All right, the ignition box. No, we're just getting rain. So again, saved the brass insert monotony. Went ahead and did that off screen. Another sticker sheet. We've only had one real ice experience so far this year. It's not been too bad. So for the middle option, I actually chose to go with the button guard that they sell. So the button guard will go in. One thing with this one is the middle. So you get the rotary encoder, you get the funky switch. You have to source a 12mm button. They were out of stock of theirs, so I couldn't order directly from them. So I found some on Amazon. The original, since it's such a tight fit, the ones that I had bought came with a pre-soldered leads on them, but the wire gauge was a little bit thicker and the wire was not very flexible to try to fold down in the small compartment behind the board in the rear plate. So I cut one of them off, soldered on some new thinner gauge wires, and what I still need to do that I had forgot about is that I wanted to show on here, because it's a I'll call it a learned skill that I've had to acquire. Why not show it on air? And that is to actually put the DuPont connectors with the pins, so I can just slide them on instead of soldering directly to the board. In case you ever need to replace the button, it would be much easier to do that, which then it takes your bare wires. I did a test one, and then puts 2 single pin connectors on them. So let's see if I can how good I am. So first up, here's this. This will go on the wire itself. Kind of a 2-stage crimp. So you do the initial crimping first. So you load it in. Slide the wire in. So. Tab will get cut off because it's just it's there for when it's spooled together with all the other thousands of connectors. Then the second half is just clamping down again on the back to secure that wire there. I'll then push the little tab off, get some snips, and remove that. And And then, if I did it correctly, I should be able to take this and slide it in. So there, now we have it. Well, guess we don't. And now we get to do the second one. Got it. So again, with the crimpers, if you can see it, you put half of the lead through that actually will be go into the connector DuPont block. And the second stage is, again, just securing the wire on the back end. So. I think I made this a little harder on myself because I did not trim enough of the wired jacket back enough. It's not going all the way into the DuPont connector to click and lock in. All right. So now we will take the button guard. I took the cables, or the lock nut and the nut out of there. Goes through like such. And we will install this. We got that. Now from the back side we can actually install the board. Yep, it's Pokornyi. It's I did link all the stuff, the DIY files and their parts and things like that, in the description. Yeah, like I said up front, the GTE one is awesome. It's really cool, and I've been enjoying that. This one just looks a little more modern. About the same amount of functions, maybe just a little bit more with the funky switch and things like that that's on this one that like the GTE box doesn't. So here's where I was saying about the original long lead cable with not very flexible wire was going to be a pain because it has to sit kind of below the level where the back plate is going to come on, and then these go to these two pins right here. So like that. Now if I ever need to replace it or change something out, like just an easy unplug. Alright, back plate goes on with 5 M3 countersunk screws. Hex Driver likes that screw. I think all in wise, this one is a little more expensive than the GTE box, even after sourcing all the parts separately for the GTE box. The GTE box is a lot of soldering, so if you're not comfortable with that, I wouldn't recommend that one. I think my total ended up being for all the parts was a little over $100 per box option, and that was really, and then 3D printing my own stuff. Already having the screws and hardware and brass inserts from all the other stuff I've been building, so it's around 105 to 110 bucks a box. So here's this now. They did give several different options for like funky switch knob types and bias knobs or rotary knobs, whatever you wanted. This is the one I chose to go with. Then chose a little larger funky knob than normal, since this is kind of just be on its own standalone, not on a wheel or something like that. Figured bigger the better, especially once you get gloves on and things like that, trying to feel around for it. Be nice. I thought I was being super smart by going ahead and dividing out all my hardware and into a tray and labeling everything, and that was a pain. Should have just left stuff where it was. And then for this one, instead of doing, at least for now, so I have the options to change if I want, but I've decided to go straight with this one. So it should look just something like this. Yeah. I'm like, oh, this will save me so much time while I'm on the stream trying to sort through parts, and like, now I can't just reach in and grab the ones I want. So there we go. Control panel, again, just chose black because I'll get to assign colors and whatever I want to do to all the buttons. And then this stuff over here should be lit, as well as around the rotaries. And then going back to the boxes, again remembering that the one on the top right has to go to the PC. So then the others, I just have these small little 90-degree flat USB-Cs. Let's see. I can open SimHub without killing things. I did plug the boxes in on their own earlier just to make sure they were going to register and connect and go. Let's go to this view. Oh, we're lighting it up. So I'm sure I'll be able to play with light settings and figure some stuff out. But each module is its own device then in SimHub. So you can change colors of just one specific thing. Edit them if you would like. So each device you plugged in, which I plugged them all in together initially, and then just one line into the PC with this one. And then you'd add new devices for each one, and then can set them up. And then I did install their provided MCP based on which module you're building, which profile from them that I've loaded in for the button lighting. So the next step will be to figure out which one of the hundreds of sticker options will go on to the 20 buttons, what makes sense for me. And the vase amount and getting it hooked up and put onto the rig. So again, cool. That's a build. Next is mounting it up on the rig and actually getting to use it. So thanks for watching. That's it for me. Hope y'all have a good rest of the weekend, and see some of you Sunday night on track. Have a good one.